Sorry. Okay, folks, we have to admit that this episode might be a little bit annoying to listen to because we was having some technical difficulties. Yeah, and my voice was going in and out, in and out. That's emotion I like to experience, but not when I'm speaking. So with that said, please have patience.
Ready?
And here we go.
Whether it makes you laugh, cry, scream, or fly, there's a song for every emotion. We're Mike and Priya, and we talk about the songs that make up the soundtrack to your life, because life is in the lyrics.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life is in the Lyrics. I'm Priya, here with Mike, my fabulous partner in this podcast. And we are coming at you from the 6th, also known as Toronto.
Wow. What are you doing?
I don't understand. What is the question?
What's with the accent?
Oh, yes. If you notice, I don't know if the little listeners are noticing, my voice is perhaps a bit different today because we are talking about falling out of love, and I think it's going to be very sad. So at times I might pull out the accent so I do not cry. And I make myself laugh. Okay? Okay.
Okay. I didn't know that this... Should I have an accent? Should I be?
You were doing an accent before we started, and I don't know what it was, but I was very much enjoying it, huh? Can you do it a little bit for us?
What was I doing?
I don't know. Something very silly.
Are you really going to keep this up the whole episode?
Not the whole episode.
Okay. Whew, thank God. Because I'm not too sure I'm ready for that.
Now you are reminding me of my goddaughter, Maya, who when she was about 6 years old, we were playing with her dolls. She took her favorite and then she gave me another doll that I could play with. And I said, Maya, is it okay if I put on an accent? And she looks at me and she goes, what do you mean? And I said, can I talk with an accent for my doll? And she said, sure. And she shrugged. And so I was doing a bit of a southern accent. So I was playing with the doll. And at one point she looks at me and she says, can you stop doing that, Auntie Priya? And I said, stop doing what? She said, stop doing that with your voice.
So it's annoying?
It was annoying.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to just wrap that up now. Shall we?
I can't guarantee it's not going to come back if I get emotional.
Okay. Well, how about you tell us about your week then? Because it sounds like perhaps... has something happened that is...
No. It's going to be this topic.
Oh,
it's the
okay.
Topic. And some of the songs that I was listening to and practicing the lyrics. And why does my mic sound like it's going in and out?
I don't know. Lift it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Keep talking.
But I mean, even as I'm talking right into it, like it's right in my mouth here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to see how it goes, but it feels like it's been going in and out. In and out.
Jesus.
Sorry, I have the brain of the mental capacity of a 14-year-old boy.
A 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the body.
I know. You bring that up as well.
Okay.
Poor listeners. They've heard it all
right.
before. So how has your week been?
You know what? It's been...
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing pretty well. I still have this niggling cough that won't go away. And as I was telling you before, it's kind of disgusting because it's like just one cough will come up, but the cough comes with
we don't
the
need
sound
to.
of...
Yeah, let's not do that.
But that's part of my...
Oh, that's
story.
gross. We don't need to tell people
So
that.
you don't want to hear about my spit bucket?
No, Riva. I mean, Priya.
Wow.
Riva's my dog. Priya is not my
Your
dog.
friend.
Yeah,
Priya
my
is also a
friend.
bitch.
I never said that.
It's okay if I say it. You can't say it. I still feel like my voice is going in and out, even though I'm not doing anything different. But whatever. You'll fix it in post. You'll fix it in post. Magic of post. Yeah. Yeah. What's wrong? Why are you laughing?
A couple of episodes ago, it was the Grammys episode. We pre-recorded something that we said we were going to add to the end of the episode.
Yeah, we didn't add it yet.
No, we didn't add it.
Oh.
So, and then
And by
the
we, I mean
following,
you.
and then the following recording session, we recorded a few more versions of that.
Right.
Well, I received a few messages from some listeners because in one of those episodes, I had said, oh, do you want to do it? And you're like, no. And then you got upset. You're like, we're running out of time. You're using valuable time or something.
Oh, I have no recollection of this at all.
I think you need to get
Yeah.
checked because
It's quite possible. I remember the things I need to remember. And once I've said what I need to say, like it's out of my brain.
it's done.
Done
Yeah.
so.
Well, in an episode, you did get irritated with me because I tried to encourage us to sing the thing that we pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And you were like, no. And then I got some
Doesn't
feedback.
sound like me.
Yeah. Really?
Okay.
And then I got a few messages. Oh, shit. I didn't
Mike
turn-
forgot to turn on the timer. We are trying so hard not to have every episode break into why are you looking
a two-pointer.
into two-parters.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Well, it's
anyways,
on now.
whatever. Okay.
So anyways, I got some feedback from
From a little
listeners
listener?
and saying, what was it that you were singing?
Uh-huh.
Because she never sang at the end.
Okay.
So I think we should sing it.
Oh, okay, but then I have to have the lyrics. The lyrics. Where are they?
Please, please, please drop us a line.
Dun, 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 dun.
Please, please, please subscribe or give us a follow, a share or a like.
Heartbreak is one thing, our ego's another. That was fun.
Yeah. So
We didn't
sorry
know how
about
to end
that.
it. We didn't know how to end it, but
Yeah. So sorry, listeners, that did not make the previous editing, but now you know.
right.
And so now that you've heard it,
Mhm.
please do something about it.
Yeah.
Subscribe,
Like,
like,
follow,
follow, all those fun things.
share.
Share, slide into our DMs.
Slide in there, guys.
Do
I
all
just
that fun
want somebody
stuff.
to slide in, please. All right.
Okay, so other than that, anything
than
else
that.
happening in your life that we want to update on?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so the newest season of The Voice started this week.
Ah,
And I haven't watched it for a couple of years, but I'm a pretty religious watcher of The Voice. I just love watching everybody's dreams come true, and I love listening to all the
do
singers.
everybody's dreams come true, though?
No, but even just the fact that they're on the stage, they're on the show auditioning, it's pretty huge, right? To be performing in front of millions of people. And I realize how much that show makes me happy cry.
Hmm.
I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like listening to all the sad stories. Every auditioner has a sad story. And they spend a lot of time telling us about each contestant. And I kind of fast forward a lot of that.
Do you pre-record it?
No, I watch it all. I stream it afterwards.
Oh, so it's already been
All
live.
the-
So you can,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
All the commercials and stuff are already edited out, which is great. And I can just cue to the actual singing parts.
performances.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of those shows in years. Like it's more than 10 years for sure.
Did you enjoy them when you used to watch them?
Yeah. But I remember watching American Idol and Survivor, I think.
I used to watch Survivor for like the first,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. And then I was just like, how many sweaty,
Yeah.
starving people can I watch?
Yeah. I haven't watched any of those things in like it's got to be 20 years. I think the last time I watched anything was with you when I would come to your house and
That's
we'd watch.
a
That was a
long
long
time
time ago.
Oh, and anyways, tell us about your week.
I don't really know what else could I say about that. Like reality TV, I don't really watch TV.
I know you don't. And
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean when you say that.
Yeah.
Because then when I think like, well, what do you do every evening after dinner and
Mm-hmm.
all? And you say you read or you scroll a lot. You do a lot on your,
I have been
iPad, right?
reading more and and
like
but
reading books or articles, you mean?
both.
Okay.
Yeah, like books, articles. And and then but there's not that much time. I mean, we eat late, so
Mm.
you know, there's not a whole lot of time. And I go to bed around like I'm an old man. I go to bed like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
I go to bed around then too. Well, maybe not 9:30, but I'd say, yeah, like 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
But I just,
Depends on when the CBD kicks in.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
what time I take it. Because it's usually like a good 45 minutes after that it starts to kick in.
I was thinking about this week and I was thinking, oh yeah, we got that. I got a couple of messages from people saying, hey, what was that? Like
Oh,
you
that's
guys talked
funny.
about the singing. So glad we got that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also thinking about content for this episode because this episode is about falling out of love.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's lots of ways you could come at this. And I was thinking, okay, well, what am I gonna? I haven't really been in lots of relationships, and I haven't really been in love very often. So, what are some of the things that I could think about to contribute? And have I ever told you about? And I don't really know if this qualifies in the falling out of love, but have I ever told you about the stalker I had when I was in my 20s?
No.
Yeah, I had a stalker, and where I worked, I used to work at the YMCA, and I taught fitness classes. I was a step aerobics
Oh
instructor.
my God, I bet you were amazing at that.
I had a following, and I had a very passionate following in with one person, and this person was stalking me for 6 months. They would call my house, no idea how they got my number. And this was back when we had answering machines with the tape recorder. And so I'd come home and there'd be all these hang-ups on my answering machine. And then I would get letters to my house and cards.
Letters?
Yeah, letters and cards.
So what were they saying in these letters? Like,
they would say things like, I looked really good today when I was at work, or things like that. Like, so I knew that this was somebody who knew me. And
but they didn't sign the letters?
No. So I didn't know who this person was. And when it first started happening, I called the police and I did a report, and nothing came of it. So about 6 months later, on Valentine's Day, I came home from work and I came in, and I lived alone, and I came into my apartment, and sitting on my counter in my kitchen was a stuffed animal and a box of chocolates and a Valentine's Day card. Inside my apartment.
Okay, what the fuck?
Yeah, totally freaked me out. And at that point, I had gotten so paranoid over the months because these cards and letters kept happening and there was no follow-up. And I was suspicious of everybody in my life. I was like, somebody is fucking with me. And it was making me really crazy.
Like, did you think it was a joke?
No. I honestly, I just was so disturbed by the whole thing. And then the gift in my apartment was the tip of the iceberg.
Totally.
Turned out this person had talked my landlord into letting them into my apartment.
Saying like she was your girlfriend or something?
I don't even know. I can't remember now what it was. But I called the police, and in less than 24 hours, they had figured out who it was.
Really?
And it turned out it was somebody that was going to my fitness classes. And,
was she your age? Was she younger?
No, she was older.
Like,
and she had 3
older?
kids. And she was very sorry about the whole thing and all the blah, blah, blah. And I had an option of pressing charges. But then the police had said, if you press charges, then it could end up in the media and you'd have to go to court and testify and all those sorts of things.
Right.
And you just need to be aware that is going to be part of the process, or potentially part of the process or experience. And so I didn't press charges or anything. And it stopped after that. I bring this up in part because it's like it happened on Valentine's Day. And I was thinking about falling out of love. And I'm like, I don't know if maybe she had fallen out of love with her husband, and you look for
a replacement,
a replacement, or you get infatuated or whatever. Somebody fills that void. So yeah, that happened to me.
That's creepy.
It was totally creepy. Yeah. It freaked me out. Totally freaked me out. Yeah. Not a great experience, but,
we are off to a very happy start.
That's an interesting start. Yeah. So
yeah, that would freak me out too. And it's interesting that it happened. Like, I was going to say, usually when you hear these stories, it's a man kind of stalking a woman. It's interesting that it was the other way around. Not that that's unusual. I'm sure that happens all the time too. But what were you wearing when you were teaching these classes?
Well, before I get into that, I was thinking, I wonder how often that does happen, but it may...
You mean women?
Where women stalk men, but it's not necessarily reflected in the stats because men don't report it.
Right. I wonder about that with abuse too.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there's probably a lot of that. But I think there's probably a lot of abuse that doesn't get reported both ways.
Generally speaking, yeah, for sure.
Anyways, this is starting off to be a bit too heavy. But hey, you were the one who wanted to do this one. And I do recall saying to you, are you sure we want to end our love month on this one? But
yeah, because Valentine's Day is over.
losers.
like,
no, I'm kidding.
Do you know like a lot of people break up on Valentine's Day?
What?
Yeah, I've heard that this is actually like a lot of people do that the day after, what is it, New Year's or something, and also on Valentine's Day. Do you hear that my mic keeps going in and out? I don't know what's going on, but I'm not doing anything different.
Yeah, I do.
We're going to just ignore that. Just ignore it like this, the way my hand is doing. Like, David. Ew, David. Okay, let's just get on with it.
Okay, then let's just get on with it.
Because we have come to the end of the road of our love month.
Yeah, I wonder, I would love to know how people, if they've been listening all month, I'd love to hear what they think about our little journey that we took them on.
Yeah, well, we've talked about first loves. We talked about falling in love. Those were beautiful episodes. Then we talked about those nasty lion cheetahs. And now we've come full circle.
Yeah. Well, let us know, listeners. Tell us what you think about our first love month journey that we took you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's time to talk about the pain, the sorrow, the heartbreak, falling out of love, because sometimes love hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that song?
Yeah.
Love scars. That's a good song.
Who sang that?
I was going to say that if anybody can name the tune that those lyrics are from, gold star to you. Love wounds and marks. It's from the 80s.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I want to say Joan Jett, but I don't think it's Joan Jett.
Nope, it's a group.
Joan Jett and the Blackhearts?
Still no on the Joan Jett. But let's leave it to our listeners.
Okay, listeners, let us know. Who do you think that was? Sing it again.
Google it. Love hurts. Love scars. Love wounds and marks. I don't think I got the melody right on that last one. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, what have you got in the falling out of love song list? Where are we starting our playlist here?
Yeah, there are so many songs. I mean, heartbreak and broken relationships is, prime content for songwriters. It's, there's that whole Adele, every time she had a broken relationship, she came out with this amazing album, right? And I think that's the case. And obviously Taylor Swift is another one that writes a lot about her.
Yes, we're going to get to Taylor. But did you know that Adele, all her albums are based on the year, how old she was when she released them? You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you're looking at me like I'm an idiot.
Well, okay. I'm just wondering, did you find that when you were researching for this?
I knew
or is
that.
This something that you knew?
Because you just said that she released, every time she had the end of a relationship, she released an album. But I'm like, but actually it was based on the year. So I don't know if both those things are true, but I definitely know mine is true. So
I never talked to her about that personally.
Why don't you call her up?
Bitch hasn't answered me. I'm kidding, Adele. You're not a bitch.
She hasn't slid into your DMs?
No.
Slided?
Slided it? No, she hasn't. I have a long list of songs that come to mind. Some have different roles than others.
Okay.
And there's a lot of current songs. Like I didn't go back into the deep, dark archives.
Okay. I did find that, like you say, there are a lot of songs about falling out of love or just the end of love.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that there are way more. Like I could probably keep naming songs. Like I feel like we could go back and forth naming songs one after another, more so than songs about falling in love.
Yeah, probably because
like there are a lot of love songs about being in love. But like,
why is that though? Why do you think? Why do you think that? Well, why do you think there'd be more falling out of love than in love?
Well, if I'm not being a songwriter, I can't really answer, but I would imagine that is so much more like it's so all encompassing, but then falling in love is too. I think when you're in love, when you're happy, you're just thinking about being happy. But when you're falling out of love, all you can think about is the sadness, and there's nothing to distract you from that. I don't know.
It might have something to do with just, when things are going well and people are happy, they don't tend, they just take it for granted, or they just appreciate that and revel in it. Whereas if there's heartbreak or conflict, that then there's more to work through. You're not really working through something when you're happy and life is great versus, I'm not saying that's totally true, but I think perhaps in the creative process, when you're working through grief or working through sadness, heartbreak, when you're experiencing those things, there's something to work through. And so writing songs, creating art is part of that process of, working through the pain and suffering you're experiencing.
I think you could be right about that. But I just thought it was fascinating as I was thinking of songs to bring up for this. It was just like one after another. I was just, that song too.
Yeah.
Oh, and that song too. Okay, I can't have 42 songs. So
How many
let's narrow
songs
it
do you
down.
have on your list?
Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, I like honorable mentions could be another 5 or 6. But these are the ones I have.
I wonder how many we have that match.
I don't think we'll have any. I think we might have one. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so who's first?
I have 13 on my list, but I don't think we're not gonna be able to cover them all.
No. We won't. But we can mention.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about the lyrics and all of them, but okay, let's you start first then.
Well, one of the first ones that came to mind for me was Bonnie Raitt's "I Can't Make You Love Me."
That's on my list.
Yes.
That's the first time I think that we've had a song that's on both of our lists.
That is such a beautiful song. And my mom, I don't know when I tuned into Bonnie Raitt. Like, I don't think that was something that was on my radar, but I know my mom loved Bonnie Raitt, and she would play it all the time. Yeah. I can make you love me if you don't. You can make my heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart. I feel the power, but you won't. Oh my God. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, She's, her songwriting is phenomenal. Like, she is an incredible lyricist. And so one of the things that came up for me as I was thinking about the songs that reminded me of heartbreak are the ones that are really obvious, or they're written in a very literal way. And that's one of them. And then some of the other more abstract songs.
Yeah.
So that was the first song, though, that came to me when I was thinking about heartbreak and relationship breakdown.
It's funny because I think that was one of the very first that came to me too.
Oh.
Because it is so evocative. Fist bump. Virtual. Bam. We can't reach. I love that song so much. And it's also a great karaoke song. Like it's in a great
it's not a rouser,
it's in a nice range. It's not a rouser, but it is very emotional. It's something you can really kind of sink your teeth into singing. Make a meal out of it, as they say.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
So one of my other songs, I've got a couple by Canadians, actually. I just like to mention when an artist is Canadian. So Shawn Mendes, It'll Be Okay. Do you know this song? It was after he and Camila Cabello broke up, and he actually filmed the video in Toronto on a snowy winter night, just in an evening. It's just him walking through the city in the snow singing this song. It's a very beautiful video, and the lyrics are so beautiful. So I'll sing a little bit of it. I start to imagine a world where we don't collide. It's making me sick, but we'll heal and the sun will rise. You don't recognize this? One of the lines he says, "Oh, the future we dreamed of is fading to black." Oh, that just is so sad. That line is so evocative to me. It's like, really, doesn't that sum up the end of a relationship? Like, the future we dreamed of, it's fading to black. Sometimes, like, lyrics to me, it's like, how did you come up with stringing these words together into something that is just so heartbreaking?
Yeah.
Just one single sentence that is so heartbreaking. It's a great song. I'm surprised. I know you don't listen to Shawn Mendes much, but you should listen to this song. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about what we were just talking about breakup songs versus falling in love songs, and I'm wondering also if the emotions you're feeling, like if you're a lyricist, if you're a songwriter or a poet, and you're going through those experiences of heartbreak, to be able to put words to that feeling, I would think would be very cathartic. So, you asking the question just now, like, it's amazing how they can, put these words and make it so evocative of the feeling.
Right.
That could be why, love songs or breakup songs are so prolific.
Yeah. It's easy. I mean, it's easy to just say, like, when you're heartbroken, just say, look, I'm so sad. I'm so heartbroken.
But that doesn't really convey the
No.
depth of what you're feeling.
That's what I mean. Like the lyrics that they are able to come up with, like, I'll close my eyes, then I won't see the love you don't feel when you're holding me, like from Bonnie Raitt's song. That is something we can identify with, but I don't think I could ever put my emotions into something so, I don't know, so meaningful and that just encapsulates so much.
I'll have to listen to that song.
You never will, but we'll
on my
let's
list.
move on.
No, okay. Yeah,
I'll
give
don't
it
even
a try.
to protest. Okay.
All right, there's another song that is also, it brings back a very good fond memory and a fond memory that you were integral in make happen. For my 40th birthday, you and some other friends had a birthday party for me, right? And there's a video, and I'll pull the video up at some point, and maybe we'll post it to our social.
I love that you just said our social.
Yeah, I know. You've worn me down.
Yeah. Because usually Mike says our socials, and I'm like, we just have the one.
So, yeah, there's this video of me. Do you remember Beyonce's Irreplaceable? Do you remember? Why I'm asking if you remember? You don't remember anything. But it was during the party, this song came on, and I was singing and dancing, and a friend of mine was dancing with me.
Okay.
And my mom had recorded it on a camera, and so I have a very poor quality video. But I'll have to pull that up. But you know that song, Beyonce's?
Of course I know the song.
Irreplaceable. Go on, get your head. What is it?
I clearly don't remember the lyrics of it.
Get gone. It seems she's home. Oops, I bet you thought that I didn't know. What did you think I was putting you out for? Because you was untrue, walking around in the car. Or so what was that?
That feels like a cheating song.
Yeah, it is a cheating song.
But still.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so, lies and cheetahs. Oh, no, that was last episode.
Yeah.
All right,
That's okay.
Okay, that should have been on last.
But it's a great song.
Yeah. Okay, then let me go to my next one.
Please.
Carole King, It's Too Late.
Oh, and you said you didn't dig too far back.
Baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it.
This hurts. Something inside has
Died and I can hide it. I just can't fake it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So that's another song that is like, it's very literal.
Yep.
And beautifully written and, of course, beautifully sung. But it just, if you were going through that experience of heartbreak, the breakdown of a relationship, like that song just, it literally tells that story.
And just like the lyrics of it, where, she's saying, it's too late, like something inside has died and I can't hide it. I just can't fake it. And that is like, where does it go? Like, what happens sometimes? Like, it's gone. The magic just disappears,
Yeah, I think that there's also, and this is very heavily influenced on my personal experience. Again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning about like me thinking, what am I going to say about, end of relationships and falling out of love? I haven't really been in love that much, but I have, I've witnessed it, my parents, my dad and my mom, and then my dad and my stepmom. And there's a part of me that believes that if the circumstances were different and they had persisted and tried to make it work, that they would have found their way through this difficult period, And I don't know, I'm not saying that I know that would have happened.
But you wonder.
But I wonder. I like to believe that a lot of relationships, depending on the circumstances, can find their way through a difficult time. Falling out of love, not having those intense feelings that you have. I mean, I was reading some articles, and one of them was saying, they've done studies where heartbreak is actually a real thing when it comes to the brain. So when you're feeling loss, when you lose something like, somebody's died, and the way your brain responds to that death and that loss and that sadness, the brain responds the same way when there's heartbreak, when there's a breakdown in a relationship, right? When you fall out of love. And so the studies have shown the same part of the brain responds the same way in those situations. And that's how they're able to, say heartbreak is a real thing. Oh, the other thing I read was they were talking. There's this one article was talking about. Well, actually, it was more than one article was talking about the kind of like the typical duration of those elative feelings, like how happy you are, and
like that honeymoon phase.
Yeah, like when you first fall in love, and that infatuation and that need to be with that person, that desire to be with that person all the time, and how that plateaus after about 6 months. And
6 months, that's not that long. Wow.
No, yeah. And but then of course there's all kinds of other variables, right? Like you're living your life, and you're getting to know the person, and you're finding other ways to connect. But it's the evolution of love. It's evolution of the relationship. And so that's in part what, influences. I couldn't articulate it. I wouldn't have been able to articulate it that way before I had read some things about it. But there's always been a part of me since childhood that thought, I wonder if, my parents could have made it work. Right?
It's interesting you say that, because I have a very close friend who they've been married for, probably coming on 30 years. Definitely over 25. And he used to tell me at times, and this was probably like 15 years ago, they went through a period of several years, actually. Probably like 4 years of him saying, I don't know, not like, I don't know, just like, oh, she's so this, she doesn't want to do this, like just complaining a lot, like being very dissatisfied and unhappy in the relationship, but not having any intention of leaving really, but just not being, it was clear that he was not elated at the time, right? And they had 2 kids, but they stayed in it. And now, whenever he talks about her, it's with so much, not adoration is not the word, but they got through that, and just because of sticking it out, I think it's like it was just a growing pain. It was just like, we're not in that love, like that honeymoon phase anymore. We're not in the
infatuation like early.
We're not in that phase of tearing each other's clothes off all the time or anything like that. Our kids are not kids anymore. They're kind of they're doing their own thing. But now that they've gotten through all that, like they're better off for it. So I wonder that too sometimes when I see people breaking up. And then at the same time, having gone through my breakup, where we talked about it last week, of how, it was like 5 years on, and I was thinking, well, should we be breaking up? But he would say, no, let's keep going, because we're, there's nothing really wrong here. And so we kept going. But that relationship should have ended after probably the 4th year.
Well, and I think like, I did say depending on circumstances, and that caveat really is the important part. Like, are people willing to work on it? And maybe this friend of yours and their partner, they might have been going through a rough patch, but they really they both obviously had some kind of commitment to trying to make it work, because they've come out the other end.
Right. And in our situation, like there was a lot of that talk about, no, we just need to work on it. Okay, so let's work on it. But nothing.
Yeah, and there was no work put into it. Like you have to work. Happened. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So little tangent there about that.
But a good tangent. Did you have a song that was relating to that, or was it my turn? I can't remember.
Well, we were talking about Carole King's "It's Too Late" and how
that's what spurred this whole conversation. How could I forget that? We all know how my memory is, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next song is I'll jump to this one because it's another Canadian, Alessia Cara. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Okay, so her song "Out of Love." Do you know?
I'm all out of love.
No. Oh, that's a good one. I'm so lost without you.
I know you were right
for leaving me. What? baby. I don't know the rest
So
of it.
long or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who sings that song?
Air Supply.
That's right.
Dawn's favorite
Dawn
band.
loves those.
Loves Air
80s
Supply.
power
Huge
ballads.
fan.
And his hair was something else, huh? That Jerry curl.
Are you talking about Dawn's Jerry curl?
Did John have a did
John?
Dawn have a Jerry curl?
No.
Okay, I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this song, Out of Love, it's a very simple song. Like, it doesn't have a lot of production values to it. Kind of like Shawn Mendes, It'll Be Okay. It's a simple melody, simple lyrics, and it's not overly produced, which is what I think I love about both of them, because it's just the stripped down emotion in the lyrics. So this song, like some of her lyrics are, there's not a thing I could say, not a song I could sing for your mind to change. Nothing can fill up the space. She says, nothing can fill up the space, won't ask you to stay, but let me ask you one thing. When did you fall out of love with me?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the song, she sings, when did you run out of love for me?
Oh.
And it's just so sad, because in the video, she shows all these different happy couples having their happy moments. And then later on, you see those same couples not like just having silence and turning away from each other. And it is sometimes you wonder, like, when did the love run out?
Yeah, sometimes.
Just what we were talking about earlier.
Do you think like I don't know. I'm sure that I'm not sure. I suspect that does happen in a lot of relationships, but I also think that it's also sometimes about what you prioritize and what you get distracted by. I find it so sad and depressing to see people out at a restaurant, a couple. I'm assuming they're couples, and it's like a guy and a girl, and they're sitting at the table, and they're both looking at their phones.
This is why I hate social media.
And it's just like you've made the effort to come out, and you're sitting on your phone. Dawn and I have had a rule, and this started, way in the beginning. When Dawn and I first started dating, he didn't have a smartphone. He didn't get a smartphone for a long time. It was a rule in our relationship that when we sit down for dinner, the phones are not a part of it. And I think it's also because Dawn grew up that way. Like, their family was big about debating at the dinner table sort of thing. So having conversation was, it was important. So that's always been a part of we never sit in a restaurant. And if we are looking or checking on something, both of us won't pick our phones up at the same time and look at something at the same time. Okay. Like, it's just something we don't do.
I like that. And I have to say, I'm glad that most of my friends are like that too. We're not constantly checking our phones when we're out at dinner or something. But I do remember having lunch with a friend, and she's a friend who lives very far, so I don't get to see her often. And she was on her phone so much that eventually I just had to say, like, do you want to just do you want to just have a pause for a bit so you can answer some texts? Yeah. Because I didn't even know how to carry on a conversation, because it wasn't really a conversation,
No, I think it's definitely there's also a generational thing too. Like, because I know
same age as me though.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, there are, I don't know what she does. Maybe it's work, or I don't know. But I have noticed that in our friend group, if we have people that are like in their 30s, they just pull their phone out and they're looking at their phone, and you're in the middle of a conversation, and it's like, you need to take a call, or
I know.
But it seems like they're
urgent?
just checking. They're just checking their phone to see, whatever.
They're just scrolling. This is... Again, like, I don't want this to become a social media rant, but this is why I hate it, because they're just scrolling. There's nothing that they're looking at.
Save it for another.
We should do an episode. Are there any songs about social media? Can we do an episode on that?
Yeah.
We should.
Okay, well, let's get through. We have a whole bunch of other songs, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we've got maybe
I feel like,
a few minutes left.
This is probably going to be the end of part 1.
We're going to do a 2-parter.
I think it's going to have to be.
All right, listeners, thanks for listening to the first part of episode 19? Episode 19.
Tune in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Now click on over to part 2 of our episode and find out what else is on our list and how long it takes before you know who gets mentioned.